Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is making prophesied enemies. In other words, if we're getting close to the Russians attacking us, we should be seeing that enemies, specifically today we're going to talk about the southern Central America states. Are we getting close to making those states angry enough to really attack us? Now, I know that probably some people have never heard of Dimitri Duduman that are watching, and so let me take 60 seconds and refresh your memory. This was a Romanian pastor, smuggled Bibles into Romania and Russia for some 30 years. They finally arrested him, put him through 5 months of torture, trying to get him to tell how he got the Bibles through. He wouldn't tell them. They brought an electric chair from Germany and said, "You see this chair? We brought this all the way from Germany just for you. You're going to tell us how you get the Bibles through, or you're going to die on that chair." He said, "Even if I die, I have nothing to tell you." They put him on the chair, turned the electricity up. As the electricity is going through his body, the whole room lights up with white light, and the angel Gabriel shows up in the room. Says, "You're not going to die. You're going to America to give them a warning from God. Plead the blood of Jesus." So he started saying, "Singululu Jesus, Singululu Jesus," which is Romanian for the blood of Jesus. He woke up on the floor, the slapping ran, pouring water on him. They brought his wife in and tortured her. Then the next day they put him back on the electric chair twice. Could not kill him, long story short. And so sure enough, the angel came to him and told him the year, month, day, and hour he would be exiled to America. It all came to pass. He arrived in America August 3rd of 1984. The angel Gabriel came to him again and said, "Get beside me," took and showed him California, Las Vegas, New York, and Florida. He said, "Do you see what I've shown you? All of this is Sodom and Gomorrah, and one day it's going to burn." How will it burn? America is so powerful. Now, here's the point. He said, "The fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems." In other words, trying to solve the internal problems. And I think that when Trump starts the massive arrests, the result is there's not enough righteousness in America to put up with that. And so the communists in America start fighting against Trump. And then he starts, there's a big war, an internal revolution, basically between Trump and the left, the Democrats. Then, now here's our point today. From the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and two of the countries I believe to be Venezuela and North Korea will attack. Now, if we're getting close to that, we should start seeing disagreements piling up between Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and two of the countries, Venezuela and North Korea. That's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, first we'll start with war with Mexico. HowTurtleRadioShow.com. Shocking information. Mexican President Sheinbaum declares any U.S. attack on drug cartels will be considered, look at this, look, an act of war. Mexico has said if America attacks the cartels, they will consider it an act of war. That's big. Let's go on. She says Mexico is a free, independent, and sovereign country, and no foreign government would dare to violate our sovereignty. But Friday morning, Sheinbaum clear says, as I've said, any attempt, we have the national anthem, and in the Mexican national anthem, it has those Spanish words which says, "Heaven gave you a soldier in every son," meaning all of Mexico will rise up as soldiers to fight against America if we attack them. That's what she's saying. However, NORTHCOM has now directed to manage the Mexico attack plans and have them ready by the, look at this, look, middle of September. I'm telling you, September is going to be a big month. We're probably looking at a new currency system, probably looking at a new constitution, a new president, which will be Trump. Okay, let's go on. Bottom line, the president has made clear that either Mexico takes care of this drug problem or the U.S. will, meaning, okay, if you just look at this, and sad to say some other articles I'm about to show you, it appears we're going to war with Mexico. Now, I told this to Leslie. She said, "Oh, that's not going to happen." Well, frankly, it is hard to believe. It is hard to believe. But It fits with prophecy. Now, there's more. Before I get into it, let me invite you to our Prophecy Healing Deliverance Conference, September 11 to 14. You can pause and read all of that, but essentially, Prophet Leslie's got 3 talks. I got 3 talks. The other people there, we got 4 different sets of ministers speaking, and I encourage you to go to prophecyclub.com, get signed up September 11 to 14. It's going to be important. It's going to be important that you're there. Now, one of my talks, and I'm asking you for help. You guys are my best researchers. You are. I cannot believe how many times the very thing I'm searching for pops up in an email that you sent. One of my talks is going to be the dangers of AI, meaning the image of the beast, so that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark of the beast and the number of the, okay, all of that. So if you can help me by sending me links to places, either a video or preferably an article, talking about the dangers of AI or artificial intelligence, meaning a computer program out there that I believe is already active that is gathering information on all of humanity now. If you can send me some links on that, I would really appreciate it. I want to have a really good talk on it. Anyway, okay, so these are the attacking nations according to the prophecy: Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Mexico, Venezuela, North Korea. Now, Venezuela and North Korea is my opinion. The 7 countries that make up Central America are Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama. Which ones of those will actually be the attacking nations? Now, first of all, I did a little bit of research. I went to Grok, and I said, which of these nations would likely not be on America's side in the event of America being attacked by Russia? Venezuela, North Korea, Belize, and I put the same notes. Here's what it said. It said Venezuela, now let me just code this because we got to move fast. The ones in pink or red are the ones I don't think will be on America's side. And then the yellow portions tell why Grok says they won't be on America's side. The blue ones are the ones that Grok says will be on America's side. But I disagree with Grok, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, let's talk first about Venezuela. Venezuela is a country that has a strong anti-American stance under its current government, with close ties to Russia, including military and economic cooperation. Venezuela has consistently opposed U.S. interests in international forums and has purchased Russian weapons, making it highly unlikely to support U.S. in such a scenario. North Korea almost certainly would not be on America's side. It has a long-standing adversarial relationship with the U.S. marked by nuclear ambitions, sanctions, alignment with Russia and China. North Korea's leadership has consistently viewed the U.S. as its primary enemy, and it maintains military diplomatic ties with Russia. Now, it says Belize would probably be on our side. It says it would likely support or at least not oppose the U.S. I disagree. This is the way I see it. I think all 3 of those nations, and I'll show you why, would be attacking America in a time when Russia and all of her buddies attack us. You can pause and read it if you want to. I'll move on. The rest of the article says, but Costa Rica, it's in blue, it says it would either be on America's side or remain neutral. I question that, and I'll show you why. Aligning diplomatic or democratic values has no significant ties with Russia, making opposition to the U.S. unlikely. El Salvador is likely going to be on America's side. I'll show you why that may not be the truth. They are right now friendly. Guatemala, likely be on. I'll show you why that's probably not. Honduras, same thing. I've been down to Honduras. I've talked to the Hondurans and the pastors. Leslie and I have been down there a couple of times to minister. They don't like Trump. They like America, but they don't like Trump. Matter of fact, my feet hadn't even hit Honduran soil, and I was warned by the other ministers down there, don't say the name Trump. Don't talk up Trump. Don't have anything to do with the word Trump. They don't like Trump. Okay, I don't think it's just Honduras. I think it's all of South America. And I said, why don't they like Trump? And they said, well, because they think that anybody in South America that wants to go to America should be able to go there. And they don't like Trump keeping them out. They don't like the way Trump is treating their brothers and sisters that want to move to America. They think if they want to move there, they should go there. Well, obviously, that's a big disagreement, but I'm saying that that's caused a lot of problems. On with it. Now, here's what I think. I think Costa Rica, El Salvador, and Guatemala, back up. Costa Rica, El Salvador have a good chance of being on America's side, but I'll show you why they probably won't be. Guatemala, I put that half, maybe yes, maybe no. But in the pink down there at the bottom, Honduras probably would not be on America's side. Now let's go on to the article. Nicaragua will likely not be on America's side. Strong anti-U.S. sentiment aligns with Russia and China. Purchased Russian military equipment. Nicaragua's leadership has consistently opposed U.S. policies and would likely side with Russia. Panama. Now, Panama Canal. We just had several of our leaders go down and talk with Panama, and Panama has agreed to drop all of the fees or all of the American vessels coming through, and basically has kind of bent the knee to Trump. But do they really, if they had the chance to be against America, to be able to take some of the spoils should America fall, would they stand strong with America or would they side with Russia? It goes on to say Panama Canal trade ties through this organization, has economic interests. Panama has no significant alignment with Russia, would likely support or align with the U.S. I question that, and I'm about to show you why. Here's why. So the attacking nations, these are the list. These are the ones that likely, the ones in blue, will likely be on America's side. But let me show you why I think they'll probably all be against America. Now, I want you to call your attention to the bottom right corner. In the yellow, it says Venezuela. Next to that, to the left, is Colombia. We know, that's not of thus saith the Lord, but I'm pretty sure, and I'm about to show you why, we're about to attack Venezuela. We're about to go to war with Mexico and Venezuela over drugs. Okay, so Colombia has also been a long time supplier of drugs to America. So it's not just Venezuela, it's Colombia. Now, if you look at the map, Venezuela can't get to America on a land walk unless she goes through Colombia. And then Colombia can't get up to America unless she goes through Panama, and then up through Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, all of those nations. So do you think Panama is going to say, yeah, Venezuela, Colombia, we'll let you march through with your armies, with all of your whatever you've got to attack America, we'll let you, but we're not going to participate? No. I think that they're going to have to participate because they're going to have to get on board with what Venezuela and Colombia are doing, pushing multiple armies right up through Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, up there. In other words, all of these South American countries from Venezuela all the way up, including Mexico, are probably, I don't have thus saith the Lord on all of it, but probably all going to be part of it. Here's another map showing you the same thing. Bottom right corner, Venezuela, they can't get to America unless they go through Colombia. Then right up Panama, Nicaragua, Salvador, right on up through Mexico. So I suspect that they all will be against America, sad to say. So the attacking nations, in my opinion, is going to be all of them. So I put them all pink. I think they're all going to be attacking America. Now, let me show you something shocking. I read part of this the other day, but I want to make some points here. This is President Trump orders military to take on drug cartels. The flow of illegal drugs and gains stops now, says Trump. The U.S. has also designated 6 major Mexican cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. These are the lifeblood of not just Mexico, but everything from Mexico all the way down in Venezuela, because the primary source of these people's incomes has been making and selling drugs in various forms to America. So Trump is basically saying we're going to shut down all of the drug cartels. Well, good luck with that. But what it's going to do, he may shut down the drugs. Matter of fact, I can tell you something else. I was driving down the road the other day. I was talking to Leslie, and I said, I think Trump is doing it wrong. He is trying to stop drugs at the source. I think he needs to stop it at the people that are buying it. Like he says that Xi Jinping of China said they don't have any problem with drugs because if someone gets caught with drugs, it's a quick trial and they execute them. I said to Leslie, I said, if Trump were to somehow get a law passed, and I know that'd be hard to get passed, that anybody that is in possession of this list of drugs, whatever the list is, heroin and fentanyl and the like, if they're getting in their possession or in their body, within 30 days they're tried and executed. All of a sudden, we wouldn't have a drug problem. It would go away real fast. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, well, that would be cruel and unusual punishment. Well, those kind of laws are designed for a Christian nation, for Christians. And we aren't a Christian nation anymore. We've turned away from that. And so a lot of the laws that were designed for good people just don't work anymore. Like no cash bail. That's ridiculous. There's lots of other laws that are ridiculous, in my opinion. Okay, so what's it saying? It's saying that instead of going after the cartels, what Trump needs to do is to cut off the purchases. Because as long as somebody has a lot of money and they want to buy some kind of drugs, there's going to be somebody there supplying it to them. So you have to cut off the purchasing side, not the supply side. That's my opinion, for what it's worth, and it didn't cost you anything. It's probably not worth anything. But what I see as a prophecy student, what I see he's doing, I think his heart is right. They've killed a lot of people. These drugs have killed a lot of people, a lot of people. But can you solve it by going after the cartels? Can you solve it by launching missiles into Mexico, Venezuela, with our Navy and taking out cartels? Can you do it that way? No, but you can sure make a lot of people mad at you. You've got to do it from the purchasing side, not the supply side. That's my opinion, for what it's worth. Now, a couple more things I need to point out in this article. Trump says we have to start treating them as armed terrorist organizations, not simply drug dealing organizations. Again, I think he's wrong. I think you got to come after the purchasing side. Official bias for potential direct military operations. Did you see that? He's about to use direct military operations both at sea and look, foreign soil. Scheinbaum just said if there's military operations on a Mexican soil, we will call it an act of war. So if you put those two articles together, what have you got? You got war between America and Mexico. What do you think Venezuela's about to do? We're about to hit Venezuela with our Navy like we are Mexico. And, we think, those cartels are just terrible. Well, they are terrible. But the problem is they're what's ruling the country. So when you take out the cartels, they're going to consider it an act of war. Your neighbor might not be your friend, but if you are in the same business working together and you need him to make your money and somebody takes him out, he may not be your friend, but he's part of your income and you're angry. And that's kind of what's going on. Let me go on. Navy destroyer missile strikes on cartel leaders are infrastructure to deeper cooperation with Mexican authorities. This directive reflects Trump's broader use of military forces. I'm telling you, if they do this, and they're scheduled to do this in mid-September, our Navy starts lobbing missiles into Venezuela and Mexico, and we're going to be at war with Central America. Now, does that line up with prophecy? Does that line up with prophecy? Does it? Absolutely it does. We are making enemies of the very people that the prophecy says we would be enemies of, that would participate with Russia in attacking us. My point is, We're getting very, very close, my brothers and sisters. Not a joke. And you know how many people would listen to me telling them this? Only people that have been listening to Dimitri Duduman's message for a long time. Only people that understand Bible prophecy. Only people that understand we're very close to the end. You. And that's why I'm asking you to click like, share, and subscribe. Send this out. It's the only way it's going to get out. Let's go on. Now, another point. More than 10,000 service members have been deployed to the U.S.-Mexico border. What? Now, what are they doing? What are they doing? And the Pentagon has created 3 national defense areas. Okay, what are they talking about? They said they basically made 3 forts, 3 staging areas. I'm not a military guy, so I don't know all the right technology, but I think that's correct. A staging area, Arizona, Mexico, and Texas. From those staging areas, they're about to attack Mexico. Are you getting this? I didn't write this stuff. This is what they're planning. They're making these, look at the very bottom line. They're turning Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas into military bases. Why? Just told you. To attack Mexico. What's Mexico said? You attack us, we're going to call it an act of war. Only it's not going to be just to Mexico. It's going to be Venezuela, Colombia, all those other 9 Central American countries. They're all going to unite. They speak the same language. They don't like Trump. Okay, let's go on. Fentanyl sanctions. So they come up with laws to target money laundering. So they're not going to be just lobbing missiles into Mexico and Venezuela. They're also using bank connections to cut off their finances. Okay, you want to make somebody mad? You blow up their source of income, and then you cut it off banking-wise. I mean, I agree. I understand Trump is trying to do something good. I think he's just going about it wrong. He should be reading what Claudia Sheinbaum, president of Mexico, said. You do this, and we're going to call it an act of war. Now, you may be thinking, oh, well, America's, we're bigger and more powerful than Mexico. Yeah, well, what are you going to do when Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, all of those all get together with the Russians that have missiles that we can't shoot down? What are you going to do when they all get on the same side? I can tell you what you can do. You're going to die in a moment, in an instant, in a flash of blinding light. Let's go on. So Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum firmly rejected any prospect of U.S. military intervention. The United States is not going to come to Mexico with military, she said Friday. Oh, yeah? Well, tell Trump that. We cooperate. We collaborate. But there's not going to be an invasion. Tell Trump. Tell the military. Because, Claudia, you ain't being listened to. They're about to hit you. I'm saying we're about to make enemies, the very enemies that will come against us and help defeat us. Military preparing attacks on Mexican cartels. I didn't write the thing. It says military is preparing lethal strikes against cartel. Look, it's saying the same thing. Without involvement or approval of the Mexican government, we're about to attack them. Now, you can pause and read it. I read it the other day. Let me go on and pause and read it. But I want to get to the bottom line here. Fentanyl's death toll represents a crisis, having claimed the lives of over 225,000 Americans. Now, we as Americans, we can say, wait a minute, we have just cause to do this. But the Mexicans don't see it that way. The Venezuelans don't see it that way. Our form of income is selling drugs to you guys. And you think you're going to come down and cut us off? You're going to shoot missiles from your Navy destroyers and put us out? You think we're going to stand by and do nothing about that? We got a buddy called Russia. And they'd love to take you out. All of a sudden, see, one of the ways that God destroys a country is he presents a scenario to where the country feels like they must step forward into that mud. But what they don't understand is when they step forward into that mud, they're destroyed. In other words, God puts us, as they say, between a rock and a hard place. We get caught in a crack. We get caught with our shoe in a crack and we can't get out. And that's kind of what God is doing here. That's the way I see it. God is setting America up on what, from our eyes, appears to be a good thing. Hey, wait a minute, they killed 225,000 Americans. We have the right to go down and put a stop to it. We don't, my opinion, we don't really have the right to go down and attack Mexico. What we do have the right to do is to start executing people that use their drugs. If China can do it, and if the other nations of the world can do it to stop the drugs, America can do it too. Now, we're not going to be able to do it under our current Constitution, our current set of laws, but again, that's what Trump is about to do away with. He's about to come up with a whole new set of laws, whole new way of doing this. So my point today is just how close is the possibility of Russia, Mexico, Cuba, Central America, and two of the countries, probably Venezuela and North Korea, getting close to being able and being in a position to, and the willingness to attack America. I'm going to say pretty close. If you want to be on the end of making money, gold and silver is preserving your money. If you want to be on the end of making money, then you might want to call prophecyclubcrypto.com, or actually go to it, or call that number at the bottom right corner. Ask them about crypto if you're in the position where you can make money. In 2021, I started making bread. And long story short is I believe God showed me that wheat is God's famine food, just like it was famine food back in the 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine, days of Pharaoh and Joseph. And I believe that that's what God has planned to feed his people. And you get it by going to josephskitchen.com. 3 steps. First, you want to get a machine package. Second, you want to order 6 ingredients and watch some videos, download the recipes to be able to make the bread. josephskitchen.com. Most of your long-time storage food, emergency food, all of that, typically are talking $9,000, $10,000 to feed one person for a year. Joseph Kitchen can show you how to do it for around $1,000 a person, and your kids will actually eat it, and it's actually good for you. Here's some bread that I made. In my case, I lost weight, lowered my blood pressure, gives me more energy. I eat a morning, slice in the morning, slice in the afternoon, or always a slice before I go play racquetball. Go check it out, josephskitchen.com.